You won't know who I am from what you perceive. But if you listen when we speak, then you will receive a glimpse of who I am. And then you'll believe and have a life of peace, because your soul is at ease. You see, our soul is the essence of which this world is conceived, which means that we were here before the bird and the bee. Now if you have not guessed, I am eternity. But now if you have guessed, and you've guessed correctly, that simply means we share the same destiny. To realize we are the God and Trinity that is talked about in Christianity. Now some will say that vanity, or go as far as insanity. It's because they believe in Western theology. But as for we, you see, we choose ancient Kemetic philosophy. Not to say that's the only path to immortality. That's the path for we, this life, you see, as we devote our life to helping others be free, so they in turn can reach their full divinity. And this is done because of the he in I and the I in he. Peace. And wholeness.
Hey, what's happening? We got some feedback. Let's see, no more feedback. What's happening? Greetings and heavenly salutations. Welcome to another Soulful Discussion. And I am, the one here. Oh, I made the video. Indeed. Right on. Stone Goddess Olaroon Oshun. Yeah, and on this day here, we're looking at also gonna have somewhat of a blast from the past to join us here in the studio a little bit later. And we want to make sure that we do start off making our joyful sound per usual. To get our juices, our inner chi flowing. As you come back and then disappear once again. All right. me shut this volume down once again. Heard a little feedback. So yeah, just breathe into this divine day. Divine being. As we officially engage in the portal of infinite knowledge, infinite wisdom, infinite knowing, infinite being. The portal of infinitude, which is the portal of self. And simply have a soulful discussion as we open up this portal, allowing our soul to fully express itself on this Soulful Sunday. Right on. Amen. Ache. All right. So, we're going to come here a little different. First of all, we're going to read this scripture. But yet, however, there seems to still be some sound coming through maybe this thing right here. Let's see, that may have done it. Yeah, I think that did it. That done did it there. That there done did it. Well, she made the video then stepped out again. Guess maybe some came up or didn't want to get involved in the opening portal, the portal opening. Nonetheless, some the more. Dig this. Gonna have to, let's see if this scripture is still here in the windows that was open. Read this scripture. It was Psalms 5. Oh, Psalms 82 and 5. You gotta get that right. Psalms 5. What are you talking about, Jack? So this is from the King James version. We may go back and read another version. But this King James version says this. We're going to start at the beginning of the chapter 82 of the book of Psalms of the Christian Bible. King James version, that is. It reads as such. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. How long will he judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. And so what happens is this verse 6 is one that is pulled out a lot. You know, it's one that my person pulled up quite a bit itself. It says, ye are gods. Specifically, King James says, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. All right. And so, gonna do one more reading of this. Just gonna go to, say, Psalm 82 in the new NIV. That's what it says in the New International Version. Right. So this New International Version reads as such. God presides in the great assembly. He rendered judgment among the gods. How long will you defend the unjust and how partially to the wicked. Defend the weak and the fearless. Uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. The gods know nothing. They understand nothing. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I said, you are gods. You are all sons of the Most High. But you will die like mere mortals. You will fall like every other ruler. Rise up, O God, judge the earth, for all the nations are your inheritance. Well, real quick interpretation from my version is that ye are gods. Talking about he's speaking to the children of Israel, his people, as they say, the chosen people, his people, and he's saying you're letting the stuff go by. You're letting it go by the wayside. You ain't doing nothing about it. You know, NIV says, how long will you defend the unjust and show partiality to the wicked? How long will you do that? In other words, what you should be doing is defending the weak and the fatherless. Uphold the cause of the pure and the oppressed. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. The gods know nothing, they understand nothing, they walk about in darkness. So, in other words, without fulfilling that obligation, even though you're gods, you're going to die like mere men. And that's my personal interpretation of that, because ye are God supports my person's journey of leaving like Enoch, doing greater works that Yeshua spoke about. And part of that fulfillment is the deliverance of the poor and somebody from the wicked, the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. And so, what my person interprets that as the hand of the wicked. My person just says it's the way the colonizers choose to conduct business, conduct their affairs, to run things, for lack of better terms. How the colonizers choose to do things from a certain perspective, one may see it as wicked. Wicked is in the sense of not having the best interest for humanity, in the sense that is set up and structured in a way where humanity is benefiting from what it offers in such a way that the benefit is allowing humanity, people, to become closer to their divinity, to the God within, to the higher, more harmonized vibration of themselves. Whereas opposed to what seems to be in a lot of cases the agenda, if you will, or the promotion of more of a detrimental structured foundation for humanity, people, in such that it leaves the people in a more detached state from their soul, their essence, the higher self, who they may be, and it promotes, which adds to the separation of the individuals, in and of ourselves. All right, right on. All right, so just got word that our guest is on the way. So we shall continue this dialogue on, for right now, ye are gods in that context. And again, my person's interpretation of that. And so, how does that fit into a soulful discussion, a solution-based, dialogue? Well, as such, generally speaking, person serves as an educator, if you will, an educator, um, and guide, an educator and guide us in the area of spirituality in such a way, educating and guiding all spiritual beings to understanding that all things are spiritual, and there are certain laws, spiritual laws, that governs all spiritual things. All things are spiritual. All things are spiritual. And the essence of spirituality is understanding the principles or laws that govern all things which are spiritual. And so what happens with that is my person is serving the poor and the weak with education and guidance, coaching, if you will, on tapping into the wealth that is already here. The wealth of God as a child of God, the riches in heaven, as thy will on earth as it is in heaven. If there's riches in heaven, well, why shouldn't the riches here also be on earth? The riches in heaven, the riches on earth. Thy will be done in heaven as it is on earth. So that's my person's way of first looking at that scripture, and secondly, operating as someone who integrated, embodies the word, becomes the word, live the word, is the word, through actions, right? And the actions just simply says, this is how my person shows up and serves as a God. Yeah, so, simple as that. And, yeah. All right. And we heard the little door open up on the outside. Should we shall await the grand arrival? Back then we'll get a little drum beat going, just to be sure if that was that door. We want to celebrate. Maybe a shakerette. It's another day. What's happening? Lotus are cool.
Hey, Master Ashep.
Uh-huh.
How you doing?
Solid, strong.
Well,
How about yourself?
doing great.
Indeed, indeed. Uh-huh. Thought you was precious mother love.
Are you talking with her?
Nah, she said she'll be here. She's on the way.
Oh, you thought I was her? Oh,
Right,
okay.
yeah. She's on her way here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
just having a discussion.
This is you stream it also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, did you get a couple more confirmations? I had two other people that wanted to, well, one for sure, and the other one she said she did because I took them. I didn't know about the price.
Uh-huh.
So I had to tell her. And one said, oh yeah, that's okay, but then she didn't know if her girlfriend was gonna want to
Right.
come in. So let's see, we said two, and I gave her that earlier today.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, no one actually officially read it yet, but
Okay.
We here, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know what she's doing when she.
All right.
She really wanted to come. She said she would, but it's up to her. So nobody else, right?
Nah, not on the Eventbrite as of yet. So. Yeah.
And what about the Sunday? I mean, the gold bag thing.
That's what my person's speaking about.
Oh,
No
okay.
read, right. Or this one either, really. Let's just check again real quick. Welcome, viewer.
You have a viewer?
It that you back over when your other room was watching a little while ago?
You speaking to me?
Speaking of whoever's listening.
Okay, could you repeat that? Let me hear.
But just the older room was watching a little while ago. You know older room?
No. Oh, the room. Okay, no. Not that I can recall. I may have met people. I remember names, remember faces. Let me say.
No, if you want to, just an option.
Okay.
Just an option.
Okay.
We saw you get up.
Yeah. Oh, I was looking for this. Put this on, but this is perfect. Because I can get more stability, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to do a quick check. And organize it.
Are you screaming right now?
Yeah.
So
would you, if you don't mind, would you sign in Soulful Sunday?
Sure.
That's, either take a picture or go to it on Eventbrite. Maybe we'll just send a link on Eventbrite. That makes it a little easier.
I can take a picture.
Huh?
You want me to take a picture? And then, whichever's easiest. I mean, quickest. I mean, just,
Yeah, because it was just sent to Precious Mother Love earlier, so we're just going to send it.
Okay.
Copy. Yeah. It was just talking a little bit, because Precious Mother Love, it's different when someone's here having a conversation, and it's different when you're by yourself talking. So,
I see what you're saying. Because a lot of people probably just going to tune in, maybe. Can you hear my voice?
yeah.
So they won't tune in opposed to come in.
Right, yeah. And sometimes there's more that will catch it the later broadcast than catch it live, right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you sent me something earlier. Soulful Sunday?
Yeah, that's it.
Click on that.
Yeah, so one person was just doing a little new, different format today. We read the scripture, Psalms 82.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll read it again.
Okay.
Check it. Yeah. Thought for it to be
Is the ticket free?
Maybe my person go open this window back here a little bit too. Just to get a little circulation going.
So when you donate, what are you donating from? You need cash or what?
If you want to, accept donations.
Well, I'm okay. We don't really need cash.
Yeah.
Next time I'll probably think about it. Because yesterday I did something I needed cash. No, I don't have cash. I don't carry
You
that.
can cash that if you want to.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's all I was wondering. I was just saying don't have the cash. But I can do a cash app. And just click on the amount that I want to put in and then it can go to the cash app. Or how does that work?
Yeah, you want a QR code for that?
Oh, I need one for that too?
Either that or
Because it says donation here and it has an amount, so.
if you do that on there, it should go straight through on there. Through whatever link you got, yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on, it did something else, man. I didn't get to put the whole thing in there. number there. Uh-oh.
So that was
Remember all that in person. Okay. Support the temple. Is that the same thing that I saw earlier? Okay, yeah. Y'all got them good short-term memories.
well.
Well, it works on time. Most of the time, I should say. Okay. Place of water. What does that do?
You in there?
Check out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got it?
Not yet.
It didn't ask me for where the money's coming from. So it says my name, and it has me upload more events. Send me emails, one person, donation support the temple. I already did that. Do you want me to do it again?
Well, let's see what it's saying over there. Oh, you gotta do the pay with it at the bottom right here. Pay with how you want to pay. Google Pay or debit card.
Debit card. Okay, we do a debit card.
Yeah,
Okay,
card
a
information.
debit.
Uh-huh.
I don't have no debit. I have a credit card.
You want to put your credit? Gotta put your credit card information.
Can't flash it on here.
Let's see. No, I don't think so. You gotta type it in.
Yeah, do that. Just go. Okay. You don't do the cash. You won't do the cash app.
Yeah, here's the different QR codes. You just think this is PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and
Okay.
Square.
So just do cash app.
Okay, so you can just do that off of there.
Leave or stay.
And maybe go back. How do you go back on this? No, go back. These there. You gotta put your phone number in there.
That's how to get cash.
Oh, shit.
There's something in that I use it. Spiritual name and I sign up.
Oh, okay. So that's that. You registered now.
Online.
Yeah, they're going to do the.
I'm in person. It doesn't answer that.
Yep, got you. Check you in.
Oh, I'm done.
Mhm.
Okay, complete the order.
Yeah.
Wait. Right. They should pay people for ratings. I would do them for free. You take it. There's too many people. Every time you do something, can I really get rating? You be doing ratings all day.
Yeah, surveys. Some people get paid to do surveys.
That's what I'm saying. I'm smooth tongue. How much you paying? It's a very nice place.
Alright, so now that that's back, that's done. scripture. That was the year of gods. But there's another scripture. These two scriptures was on my person's heart. They say, two scriptures on my heart.
Okay.
One of the scriptures is Ecclesiastes. It says, Ecclesiastes chapter 3. This is what it says in the New International Version. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. Yes. That thing. Thoughts about that? What the anything? Well, have heard that saying a lot. Yeah. So one of the things my person read it is to see the spiritual laws that applies to that and what it look like in our daily lives. You know, if we really believe that.
Okay. Yeah. We really believe it.
Right.
It applies throughout, time. Your time of living is a time for everything, and some of these things may not even really have read it and realized it, but everything has its place in time. In time. So I agree with it, and it's real. It's realistic. I would say it's realistic because we go through so many phases of life, and we have to approach them differently. Everything has to be approached differently. You can't just have the same. Okay, I hate everybody. I'm dancing all the time. So it depends on the process of life that you're in that these would apply. And it's good to know these because that gives you more discernment as to when to and how to respond in situations. That would be my take.
Something just came to mind just now. On some bigger picture, bigger scale. There's a saying said the devil has deceived the whole world or something like that. There's a time for evil to rule, to reign. So if that's the case, it would seem as though it is reserved for such times as these. For evil to have its reign, to have its rulership, to run rampant. For evil to so-called have its way, or for so-called evil to have its way. Now, if that's the case, it would seem the more that we embrace this, we will have more peace in our life, no matter who get elected. No matter how many houses go into foreclosure, no matter how many vaccinations they say children gotta have now. All these things that people say, why are they doing this? This seems like they evil. Well, if there's a time and place for everything under the sun, it just may be the time for evil to be doing everything that it.
It's a time,
right,
for everything. embrace it. But yeah, with this discernment and as to how you're situating yourself within that time of activity or in space, time and space, with understanding where you fit in, because it's always a way out of no way.
Mm-hmm.
Out of no way, but that you think there's no way, but there is a way.
There is a way.
There's a way.
Uh-huh.
And that's very, very profound to bring up that that's something that you normally wouldn't just think about. You just shun it and possibly run from it, or just become, frozen by it.
Uh-huh.
But that was a good observation, in explaining that, yeah, this time, and it's something that you're not going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Right up front.
Not up front. Not up front. Most people is not enjoying this time of human evolution.
Yes.
And the suggestion is, well, my person going to just call it what it is. It may be due to some what we'll call ignorance of the law.
And which is normal.
Right.
Until you become aware.
Uh-huh. And the thing with this is, it's one of those things where, because the colonizers, those that are, have what they call it power these days, put so much attention on man's law that most people overlook the spiritual law. Because they so focused on the man's law. Don't forget, your man say do this, you gotta get your license, you gotta pay for this, you gotta be in compliance. You don't speed, don't go too fast. They got them cameras. They always watching. Watch what you say. You can't offend nobody. All these things people so, in lack of terms, maybe uptight with. And there's so much pressure for man's law that even though we hear the spiritual law, there's a time and place for everything under the sun.
Right.
It's like we hear it a lot of times, but it don't give us that peace to engage with regular in society or with what's the reality of what is, because we're so concerned about the propaganda of these laws.
One track.
That we lose sight of the spiritual laws that allow us to be at peace with all the BS.
And with reality.
With the reality. Uh-huh.
One love.
There she is.
Yeah.
So that's right.
And manifestation.
Yeah.
I would say manifestation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is days of day. That's why when Lola's a cool came in, my person got this going, it's your day. It's your day.
You thought, okay.
So.
But she has celebrated my solar return with me before. Yes, it's beautiful. Oh, is this your solar return? Yes, it's today. Yep. And it's on the day that I was born was on a Sunday. Yep.
How soulful is that?
Yes. And it was, full moon, which we are going into the full moon on Tuesday. So that kind of makes sense that I've been doing these full moon events for so long, being born into the full moon. You were born into, was it like the phase that it is now, or was it actual full moon? That part I'm not certain. I just know every year on my birthday is usually, there's some years where it's been on a full moon. Okay. And some years where it's a day or two before, but it's always in that time zone. Okay. And then my menstrual cycle synced up with that after, I think I noticed in my 30s. I did not notice it every that every year was on my birthday and that there was a full moon. I didn't realize that. Yeah. Until, so again, it makes a lot of sense that I do these full moon events, ceremonies, celebrations, and conduct. It's natural. Yeah, man. Yeah, I share. Natural. Look,
live it. I've heard y'all talking about believe. I be live it.
You can hear that?
I be living it. No, on
Yeah.
Facebook. I was
Oh, yeah.
listening on my way. Sorry for my, I'm tardy to the party, but I was doing a few things on the way here in preparation for the rest of the celebration. So, but yeah, I didn't recognize what I just said out loud until I just said it out loud, even though it stands to reason. And you would think that I'd already thought of that. You would think that but I have to look at how I've been living. And I think you guys were talking about believing, and I said in my mind, be living, because I be living like that's truth.
Yeah.
Like that's my truth. So when you be lie it or be live it, you're acting as though you believe in what you are, you're living it. So how can you not say that's what you believe or be live until it does occur or whatever,
So our first got from that is your actions is what you believe, because you're living. Whatever your action is, that's what you be living, so that's what you believe. That's the title.
Which speaks louder than the words.
Right. So you can say you believe something, but your action will show what you really believe.
What you be living.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Be living.
Yeah.
That's Bonnie's, but it's
say how you living. Say how you living. That's what we used to say to each other, right?
Right. Yeah.
How you living, shawty? How you living?
Yeah.
I think that's what dogs do to each other when they see each other. That's their how you living. Because they it's like they're taking the temperature. They all their senses are engaging into their greeting of each other.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We don't say it like that because that's not our language. We think, well, are they going to fight or what are they going to do? We don't understand it.
Yeah, stop sniffing his hind part.
Yeah.
But that's how you check how they living.
They're like, yeah, they're okay or they're not. But that's their language, not ours.
When a baby does a dump in a diaper, mommy checks it to make sure it's this and that and the other, even though we're not as tuned into it as the super sensitive canines might be. But it's the same sort of thing. We're checking to see, the texture, the smell, the color,
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Even for ourselves, when we get up, we're supposed to check how you living. You're going to see it right there. The proof is up. I can't shit what you eat. You know what I'm saying? So when you check in for yourself, your science of self, it definitely seems like, when we pay attention to our senses and check in on those levels, our super sensitivities. More Ali's birthday was on the 12th, his solar return, and he sent me something that made me think about, and because I had to think of his name, everything that was going to come behind that flew out the window. But anyway, I had shared a couple of lessons with him, and then he did the same with me. Our solar returns are usually right there together. But anyway, what was the subject I was just talking about? Before the solar return, I was talking about his because of something that he gave me as a gift, and I was going to share it. But La La Land has approached. I'm in chill mode.
There's a time for everything.
Yeah, it is. There's one time for that one. Next time, I get it next time.
Yeah, that is.
I appreciate that. I'll say that more often when it flies the coop.
Yeah, that time and place for everything under the sun.
Yeah. You don't hear it much. It used to be always said, there's a time and place for that. Every time, you
You're
right. Hear it all the time.
Yeah.
All of that, all those treasured, treasured information and spiritual things.
Teachings,
They've gone to the wind, and that's why there's a lot of confusion with people because they don't have nothing that's helping to direct your mind. It's like, you can meditate, but you need more substance.
In our everyday
Activity.
the same as back in the day, for the most part, everyday activity was your exercise.
Yes.
Because it wasn't, most people weren't at computers like they are today.
Mhm.
So when the computers came out, it changed like the workforce and how you interact, then with all the cable channels and the video games. So even becoming less active,
Yeah.
the sayings also that help remind you.
Yeah.
So it's a lifestyle that has been slowly being diminished over time. Because it was a time for that. Now it's time for it to be more.
And ooh. So the key is to figure out what time you're in. What is the time that we're in?
Ooh.
I did something of a
So
research.
you will know where you need to be in your space and time, because everybody's in a different space and time.
Yeah,
polychronic. Right. That's a word I
Polychronic?
Polychronic. A client of mine that I was doing some amethyst jewelry for, he was into, and he called it polychronic. And I was like, what is that? You know how people say CP time, color people's time. Polychronic is similar to that. Everybody has their own timing.
Oh, okay.
And we all dance into our own drummer's beat. So, some people are late bloomers and some people are, what do you call that, genius level, eurekas. But no, and when I researched it further, I looked and I saw that, because we're born on a certain sun sign. So we kind of move into that beat. That planet resonates its frequency in our energy. So whenever that time is for that planet during our timing, that's like another time that you're plugged into. But then we got the Gregorian and the tropical and all the sidereal and all these things. Some people tune into the tropical, some people tune into the sidereal. Yeah, is that how you say it?
Sidereal.
Sidereal.
Right, yeah.
So, in so many levels, like you got different deadlines for different things you're working on, different pay cycles and things or whatever. But, sleep cycles, all that, we all have our own timing for when we feel like it's time to go, when it's time to celebrate ourselves, all that has to resonate with us like, okay, ready, like when I walk out the door, it's an orchestration. It is not like, oh, I can just jump up and go. I got to grab this and grab that and do this and do that, coordinate all of that, and then at that point, it's time to go.
And it's all based on time.
Our own timing.
Yes.
So, there's a time, place for everything under the sun for
individual.
You. Right. And collectively also, right? Collectively.
Yes.
And they could be different.
Yes.
Because we are a world of ourselves.
And
right.
first, before we can go out, because if we are discombobulated within, that's going to be kind of hard to actually move.
Outside of yourself.
Move, yes.
And so the time that society is in is a time that takes you away from going inside to yourself to get your own time.
To know what your time is.
To know your time.
Is this your time now to what, do, or be?
Your time is up. That's something I remember hearing on one of those hilarious shows. But yeah, it seems like that's when you decide to take a trip through your mind and see what you can find. That was one of the songs that I wrote at 17.
Okay.
When I was younger, as much woman as any and too much man to be, I'm your brown sweet sugar daddy. Ageless as father time, finer than the best wine. I have as much pride as a tameless lion, priceless as any treasure, weightless like a feather, pleasure beyond measure. So, but anyway, that's some more of it. But it's again, my thought is, so many layers and levels to what time it is. What time is it?
Right.
Put your Gucci watch on, synchronize the time, and let's rock.
He was in a group called The Time.
The Time.
Jungle Love.
Hallelujah.
schools.
No, or
Ain't
you know,
time for it.
if any teaching was to be done there, should be one of the first things to do. But homes need to start really, gravitating to that and exposing, everybody to that and operating on that level as a family, as a group, and then they can develop and grow and spread out and be more attuned to themselves and their time, your time, your own time. Yes, and then therefore you can expand into the universe, I would say, and vibe more and with the universe according to your time. And you ever heard it say, I may not be on time, but I may be late, but I'm right on time.
Right.
I may be late, but I'm right on time.
Right, yeah.
So that means that you think it's late, but I'm on time.
Right.
Or somebody think it may be late to you, but I'm right on time.
Right, yeah.
And that's something to really, I think, consider.
Yeah.
Knowing what time you're on. That's deep.
Right. Then the other one is close to that is God may not come when you want to, but he's always right on time. And if you're a God, then I'm on time, like you said.
Right.
Yes, it makes sense to that.
And if you know you're God, that's the other thing.
And that was the scripture is that came up also. This is Psalms 5. Was listening to Remite earlier this strong.
Psalms 5.
Remite, boy. Remite is something. Then Remite, he brought up Psalms 82. He's brought up Psalms 82 and 5, so we just want to read the whole chapter.
5:82?
Yeah, well, Psalms 82, verse 5,
okay.
which is really verse 6. But we're just going to read the entire 82nd chapter because it's maybe 8 verses, like a sentence each verse. And this is the King James Version. It says, God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judges among the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. Then he says, defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. So, the summation, if you don't know you're a God, then you're gonna die like man. You just die like every human being if you don't know that you're a God. And if you know that you're a God, part of what it's saying is that this is timeless, even though we're talking about the time, place, everything in the sun. Now is the time to, let's say, to protect the needy, deliver the poor and the needy, rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They not know, they will understand, they walk on in darkness. So as it has been prophesied in Scripture, or a lot of sacred texts, that there's a time when evil has to rule. Doesn't have to be it's a time for gods and everybody living in righteousness and working and holistically and everything is pure. You can drink the water. You ain't got to go buy water. Everything is pure. Then there's a time when corruption came about, and so for those people who are, the spiritual laws, who wrestle not with flesh and blood, but powers and principalities, and wickedness in high places, and some say it's a war for souls or this or the other. From that perspective, tying all that in, what my person is getting that those of us who recognize, who resonate with being gods, then understand that there's a time for wickedness. And so we're not to fight the wickedness, because there's a time for this shit.
Yeah.
Well, we're more so to deliver the poor and the needy, the uneducated, that there's a time for it.
Yeah.
And so what my person was saying earlier is, as a God, its responsibility is to simply educate and assist people understanding the spiritual laws so they can deliver themselves from the wickedness by not believing the BS or propaganda that they've been put in front of. Or, especially if they have an idea that some ain't ready, right, and they open to it, we can help deliver them from the wicked by changing their mind, by the renewing of their mind, by different information from our experiences on putting into practice these principles.
Yes.
Earlier you said something about the laws, the natural laws, the laws of God or whatever. And so we said something about believe and speaking the law. So, believing, that, okay, seeing through the veil or seeing through the BS.
Right.
It seems like, as long as we are able to move past that vibration and get into the what you believe vibration, then you're able to influence things so that when wicked things do happen, say wicked people do come into your presence, it's a certain energy that they'll feel like either, I'm not going to mess with them,
right,
because I see what they got on them, they're glowing, so I know if I do something, it might be a catastrophe on my behalf, because, touch not my anointed kind of thing. But then also the thought is, a lot of things, will be used for my good, that even though there may be something that's going on, somebody's getting their just due that comes to my benefit, or somebody, so there's a check and balance in that. There's a reason why certain things might happen that are of ill energy, of sickness or wickedness or whatever to them, and it may be sometimes that it's my turn to be in that energy where, if I'm, because I do something like a particular company that I support, they do something to harm a group of people or whatever, if I support that, then in that way, that energy is coming back to me until I know and can balance that out, so, and make it for my good,
right,
like whatever, come up with some sort of program, some sort of, we call those things boycotts or an awareness campaign, or, do something to balance that karma, that energy. Like, hey, before this I didn't know this, but now that I know this, let me let y'all know. Because it's time for the light to shine on some things so that we can rebalance and make sure that we are all in a better place energetically, because the energies that we all carry affect the earth. I'm an earth planet, even though I'm mutable, which means I'm flexible, and I will, be good at that. I'm good at being ambidextrous and being mutable, but the whole thing is I'm speaking to the earth energy, to the energy of the earth, that we are tilting the scales toward the more loving, the more supportive, especially since the period of what did they call it, shutdown, all those things that happened, based on that, changing what we believed in, changing how we thought, it became such a crisis that it was like, I'm not going to say every man for himself, but every man was tending to himself a lot better, so that love energy, even self-love, has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. Now it wavers, but every time, like when 911 came, oh, I'm American, whatever, we rallied around loving energy, loving our country at that point, but loving ourselves at this point, and then, over the years, we're finding, even things like Red Cross, supporting some of these organizations was different at some point. Now they're very accountable, or more accountable, or at least have more of a, what do you call that thing, oversight committees, oversights.
transparency.
Right, so that because, people frown upon you collecting money for one reason and then doing something else with it when folks ain't looking.
Boy, Brett Favre did that. Famous football player. Mississippi, he was out of Mississippi, got them for some money. Social Security, something like that. Right.
See, yeah, it comes back to bite you. So, but that is the energy I'm seeing, that, we're going to have to get ahead of or get into the mindset of what is real, what is love for real. If God is love, and if the creation energy, that God spark that's in us, like how can we all get on a consensus of loving energy?
Timing.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, this 3D dimension is not the dimension for all to be on love.
Timing.
Because this dimension,
I'm not sure if you're hearing this, so I'm tuning out, guys. One love.
from my person's understanding about this dimension, it is based upon polarity, duality, love and not love, or love and hate.
Because it's a time for
right,
each one.
So there's a place where it's duality. Then evidently there's a place where there's a dimension where there's all separation, which some call hell, because everybody's for themselves. There's all separation, and there's a dimension where it's all love. Everyone is loving, which some call that 5D vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So just sharing that, 5D, fifth dimension.
Yeah, that's what we're going into. Supposedly.
Those of us who want to go.
Yeah.
And believe in it and be living it.
Yeah, they know about it. A lot of people don't even understand. They haven't even heard about it. They're just trapped in a portal of what they can't control.
Right.
Or even see beyond.
Right.
See beyond. You got these like certain areas in the city where you'd be like, it's that's just an indication, an example.
Right.
It's like, did you come across, come across the bridge? It's more opportunity.
Right.
People are united.
Right, let's leave the plantation, Harry, tell McCone, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a good little
There you go.
You don't know what's out there. You gotta fend for yourself. You go out and all.
But it's over here. I'm doing it. I'm taking something. I'm a living example. They still can't see it.
It's this
because
dimension.
of the time. The timing and their timing. And what they say, some will be called and some will, what is that?
Many are called,
right,
and few will answer or respond.
That's it. Many are called and few will
are chosen.
And that's it. It's a harsh reality, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Right.
But it's a decision in it too. There's a choice for making a decision. There's an opportunity for making a decision if you're going to hear the call and answer.
It seems like there's a word that's missing from that. It should be. Don't think it's in there, but it seems like it should be.
Okay.
Many are called and few have chosen.
That could work.
Because again, it's the free will to actually choose.
Yeah. And
even though you're called, you still have to choose.
Rewrite the book, the verse.
Right.
Rewrite it.
They just did.
They've done it.
I tell you, so it is, so shall it be.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
It's been done.
Right.
Yeah, well, in addition to, the choosing part, there's a lot to be said for, once you know better, and how motivated are you to do better? Because, what we eat, and growing our own food and, deciding not to go through so it makes it easy for us to go to the supermarket, right? But it also, it makes a difference in, are you self-loving yourself,
Choices.
Right. Because when you eat a lot of sugar and eat all these different, high salt or high oil or fats or whatever, do we have to eat those things? You can choose to have a clear mind, a clear heart, a clear spirit because you have, cleansed or detoxed or you eat a certain way, not only just organic, but, and you talk to your food or you actually have some connection to your food. food. You know who grew your food. You know, there's a way to live and be all the way to.
That's a whole seminar.
Right.
That's a whole seminar.
But what I'm saying is the choices start with.
Choices is a whole seminar.
I know.
It's a seminar because when you talk about choices, if you don't have no expansion of ability of exposure, you can't make a decision. You know what I'm saying? Just think about it. If every you was feeding sugar all the time, you don't know anything different. Nobody ever said, look, don't do the sugar. And actually give you what replaces what the sugar is doing, the effects that you're enjoying from the sugar.
Ah, yeah.
See, when you take something, you got to give something.
Give something to replace
you have to, yes.
Ah,
you
right.
cannot.
That's what I'm sharing with my grandson.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a serious process, and it's much needed. That would be something very beneficial to have, as a teaching, because right now we got off track, and then back in the day, people they gave you it wasn't no sugar habits. People ate from the farm. People grew their own food. They didn't depend on anyone else. But all that's been taken away.
Exactly.
So now it has to get back to, and it's all done basically through a practice. It has to be relearned and practiced.
That's what I was going to. What I was saying is that showing them, okay, because yes, that's obvious. But what I'm saying is that you don't even know that's a choice until you know it's a choice. Because as a child, you're given these things. So as a parent, which is what my daughter's doing with my grandson, my daughter was raised in a vegan, vegetarian environment. So she's raising her child in that environment, which means that's what he's learning, and he's going to be passing on to his. So you have to, not only make the choice for yourself, but share it with those others, your loved ones around you. A lot of these meals come at this holiday time where they know what I eat. They know how I eat. They know that I eat fresh, organic, vegan, vegetarian on a more practice basis. But how they show me love is preparing a few of those kinds of dishes and keeping that in mind. But that's how we're sharing love as a family, showing each other, because being strict about these things isn't necessarily the way to introduce it to people. Like, oh, I only eat this, but showing them, bring a dish that says, this is how I eat, and sharing this with them.
And they understand why the purpose.
Oh, there's a discussion usually about it.
Yeah, and education. And then once they have that, then they can stick with it and actually share it outside with people that are not necessarily in their particular
Friends,
circle.
family, folks.
And maintain it. That's one of the things that is right now we've had a problem with, because a lot of people grew up with right information, right knowledge, right experiences, but then you had this thing that came in and zapped them upside the head. They done forgot everything. They forgot. They be looking at you.
What thing come and zap them on the head?
What thing? Things that they put out there, that came
propaganda.
up. Yeah.
Okay. Programming on our
All
electronic.
this type of stuff. That stuff is brainwashing.
Distracting.
It washes the
Whitewash.
brain.
Whitewash.
Yeah. Colonize what?
Well, but now that we're
All
tuned
type
into
of
the
wicked
cosmology of things, I think that
It's
we're
the season
starting
for
to
it.
be a little
Yes.
more in the natural.
It's the time.
I think we're being a little more in the natural about it here lately. The changing of the age, the movement of, our cosmology now is being a little more tuned into, so we're listening a little more. I saw a show the other day where they were talking about radio hits, because, we get downloads, we get streams, we get, uploads or whatever, little God voices or whatever. But I feel like, okay, let me start with this. planet Sirius, or the Sirius stars system. So the Dogons say that they're from that system. And the Dogons have a practice where, well, first off, Dogons say that they brought marijuana here, and that it was to help the frequency to match what those downloads are. Apparently, and it's in Google, Sirius is always transmitting something to us. So when you say what's hitting us upside the head, I'm just sharing that there are some things that are out there that we need to be lined up with and being able to resonate with. And so not everything that's out there is going to, hit and resonate, but there are some
That's
things.
a seminar right there.
Okay, well, I do that often. I do that often.
And that's an actual
in my opportunities to speak. I'm speaking. Hold on. Hold on.
Film yourself.
No, hold on. I'm already
material.
being filmed.
Oh, okay.
So, but what I'm saying is, and purposefully,
Yes.
I come with this information to share. So, I used to do Soulful Sundays with him. So, I've been kind of savoring the flavor of some things.
Okay.
And so, these are some things that I've been in my series on Heart Happy Hour bringing to light. So, I'm kind of capsulizing it to share a little bit. To a degree, each time that I do come out, it is.
Clip notes to the seminar that's already taking place in many different platforms.
Yes.
So Sirius is downloading some stuff that we ought to be catching, that that if you resonate with, you'll be receiving some higher frequency information that'll allow you to align with more so with your purpose here, more so with your mission here, more so with the right way of thinking, more so with the right way of eating, more so with the right way of being around people. So I'm saying that, how they legalized marijuana now, THC, that, once they could control certain factors or contributing factors, they've monetized it, where it's, what is it?
Brainwashing.
That we get. If I can feed your birds, I can feed you too. But what I'm saying is that over the years, because he said if I give the birds a house, when I said they monetize marijuana, I was just saying that the earth gives it to us freely if we plant the seed.
That's Matthew 6. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, all these things will be added to you. Because when God provides for the trees, the plants, and everything is taken care of, that's what came about in Scripture.
Say that. Would you repeat that, please?
Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added. That's the salvation.
Yes.
Because it talks about how God provides for the birds, the plants, and they have
the full information, explanation.
Right. So while God provides all that, won't God provide for you too?
Right.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Yeah.
So that's actually what I'm saying. That you'll line up with your riches that are stored up in heaven, because your heaven will be here on earth. But I'm just saying that the highways and byways to get that download or to get that information or get that streaming is going to be polluted until you can actually follow my 5 words of wellness, my 5 words of supernatural wellness, with hydrate, cleanse, flow is the final word, hydrate is the first word, and then it is a cycle of purging, cleansing, and selecting where you're setting your GPS. That's a consolidated message of what these 5 parts are, and they're just a flow. And the only way that you're going to be able to clear the clutter and allow yourself the proper energy to line up with you, to tell you when to go, so you can hear when the time is, when my time is for you to actually hydrate properly. H3O2? Yeah, H3O2, which is more of the fruits and pressed fruit drinks, which aligns with the kind of chemistry that we're made up of. But, point after point I can continue to make. Again, it's choices. Do you choose to even listen when you get the download? Because again, the choice is, are you...
Make a song. Put it in a rap.
A song?
Yeah, make a rap of a song of it. Because that's the way, because because the time that they're on is not the time that you might be on. But you may have a message for them, but the timing, knowing what time it would be, you need to get that message across to them, to whomever, you know.
Okay, I see.
So
What
there's
you're
many
saying.
forms
Message in
of
the music.
Yeah, because a lot of the people that right now that don't have proper direction is they're listening to music. They're listening to data that's streamed. So, I mean
I
could be.
do make my mantras to music, and I do them where I can listen to them at night, or when I'm going somewhere. Actually, when I'm preparing myself. Over the years, I've made at least 15 to 20 of those, 2 or 3 a year for at least the last 5 years that I've been on this kind of concentrated efforts, putting that energy around me, surrounding myself with the kind of energy
Conscious music
that supports myself. Yes,
conscious
music. That's my conscious speaking to my conscious kind of thing.
Conscious lyrics, because music has a way of, as we all know, penetrating. It's penetrating, and it's more. You don't even. It's subliminal. It's even subliminal. So that would be a great way to actually make some changes and assist with changing and receiving.
I taught my daughter to music a lot of times, because she seemingly, some of that stuff didn't make sense to my daughter. My daughter was not, I don't want to say right brain or left brain, but some kind of way, the way her brain works, music worked really well with
Generation. Her. It's a generation. That generation, that's what they receive more so than verbal. They're more in tune to frequency through music.
Well, I think we all are, because that African drum, the ancient ways that we have, prayed or chant or do ceremonies, it always includes some element of music, of us dancing unto the Lord, raising our vibe with that kind of energy.
The majority of people are.
So conscious music is definitely more and more
because I can see that in the rap song what you were talking about, your 5 principles. I can see that in a conscious rap.
Thank you for that thought.
Absolutely. I can see that. That would be some really good, because then it's going to penetrate the conscious and the subconscious.
Okay.
Yeah. So that way, the message will be permeating.
I'll resonate with that idea. Ashep.
Time and place and everything under the sun. What's your time, Jack? What's your time?
Somebody mentioned next time is
Well,
my time.
Yeah.
You know what? What just came to mind was Teletubby. Because first off, our tummy tells us a lot of times when it's time to do something, that gut feeling. And those little baby Teletubbies, I've never really watched them, but it seems to me like that's a subliminal message too. Like, it tells you, like that's part of that programming. Where it got to our youth. That's some of that programming young.
But what were they programming them to?
Right, because they had little televisions on their tummies.
Actually,
so they would digest. So they could digest what was on there, being broadcast over the airwaves.
Yeah. So that it all depends on if it's beneficial, because they could take that made it something that would totally benefit them and program them to do something that would benefit them, not necessarily benefit advertisers, because that's what all that's about. It's about So you can take that same thing and use it against them and for them. The same. You could take something and turn it around, upside down, make it better, make it positive where it was meant to be negative.
That's what I was saying earlier about how you balance out that karma, because even if they mean it for our bad, it can be used for our good.
Yeah.
tummy's telling you something. My tummy is telling me time to make a move. TMI, but I'm just saying. It might be me being excited. It might be being anxious. It might be, my tummy is telling me something. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So paying attention to what it's talking about. When we tune in.
It will give you signs, warning signs.
Yes, and that's what all
alerts.
Our body does that so much that we, like if you take a pill for this and a pill for that, you won't see that your body is telling you something. You've given way to, it's telling you, but you ignoring it. It's telling you, but you ignoring it. And then by the time that you actually address it, you go to the physician and the physician says, blah, blah, this, whatever, bad news. It's been telling you the whole time. What time it is. Yes. And so you got to take that time and tend to whatever it's telling you. I know that sounds so spacey and airy, but
we're talking about time.
But
so it's right on time.
Right on time.
Yeah.
Right on time.
So, and as I said that, some kind of way, my tummy calmed down a bit. So it's telling me something that I need to be tuning into. And so, whatever it was.
Have you taken out time to drink water today?
I did, I have. Yeah. But what I did was, I probably shouldn't have I had a little piece of candy on the way here, telling myself, give myself a sugar boost. But why do I need a sugar boost,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You were just talking about sugar earlier.
I was. And actually, because we know the guy who makes the bean pies, right?
Right.
So I got a bean pie. Matter of fact, I was selling bean pies this weekend at the flea market. But the bean pie, to me, the first time I bit into it, it was so sweet. It's like I haven't been eating sugar. But as soon as I ate that pie yesterday, and I was like, as I started eating it more, it's like I started getting used to the amount of sugar it was. So by the end, it tasted so delicious. I had gotten myself used to high sugar content again.
Just that easy.
Just that quick. And then me buying one piece of candy, little teeny piece. The guy, I didn't buy it. I take that back. I was at the store and the guy gave it to me for my birthday. He's like, so yeah, and it happened, because he's from India. And but yeah, it's as though, I gave myself a little bit, and the more I ended up, then then I'm getting a piece of candy and eating it instead of eating. But I did drink water. But instead of eating, I was supposed to bring the watermelon in here with me that I was going to share. So I'm gonna run out and get that watermelon. That might be some of what my tummy is telling me.
Yeah.
Because my tummy is actually getting back round up again.
Flush it out.
Yeah. So that watermelon will help.
Maybe something
Tony thing.
Something green also. Green.
Well, I plan to get a bunch of good stuff on my way to the beach. I'm going to the beach after this.
Good. What beach?
Well, to be determined.
Okay.
Because what I do is I go to a particular area, then I say beach near me, or boat ramp near me, or whatever, marina or something like that. And then I'll look at the distances of them and decide based on what else I want to do or what else I want to get into, which one I go to. And it usually end up being, beautiful escapades. Sometimes I take folks out with me. Today I'm taking, actually, Hatshepsut is going to be joining us.
She's coming here today?
No, she's going to go to the beach with us.
Oh, okay.
She's going to get some services done, some health care, some wellness treatments.
Okay.
And we may be in
her
neck
I
of
haven't
the
talked with
woods.
her in a while.
Yeah, she came down to treat herself
She's
to
here?
some self-love.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in the D.C. area. Yeah, she's
Is she staying here? Or just for the weekend?
She's in her tiny house up in West Virginia. She's living that life.
She's not coming here today?
She's
the
having her
appointment,
services
right,
done.
at the same time.
I see.
Yeah,
Oh.
and so we
Okay.
synchronized.
Here.
We synchronized our watches,
See
and
that.
we'll be touching base.
At the time,
The time, yeah, not the time.
that time is something.
Yeah, to think about it. Now, I'm getting tired all of a sudden. Y'all, I
Huh?
normally have hot sweats, but
Yeah,
is it something?
it's energy in
The air,
motion.
the air
It's
conditioner?
no,
Is it on?
no.
I don't need it on.
The one-
Can you crack it?
It's your personal
one
summer.
I don't have them.
You can say you don't have them,
I
but you
don't
just
have
described.
It's
You
just
just
warm in here.
described.
It's just a little warm.
Neither of us have gotten that warm feeling. You're getting warm fuzzies from what you're chatting about.
It could be possible. I'm just all the time trying to feel warm.
And you
Start
breaking a
talking about
little
her
bit.
ship suit.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Start talking about the beach and her ship suit.
Oh, maybe that was it. I was thinking with the sun, huh? The sun and the beach. Oh,
Yeah.
that should be nice.
So, my person now will give this conversation has allowed a deeper appreciation of the tool of time. Remind my person now is just a fucking tool.
Just a tool.
So don't get too caught up in it.
Yeah.
It's just a tool.
The
And
tool.
just like all tools, we all use them differently. Which comes back down to this agape / unconditional love. Not being at peace with how someone else chooses to use a tool of time.
Yeah.
Because what you eat
Right.
don't make me shit. So how do you use your time? Well, a person who got his own time.
Right.
Well, your time messed my time up, but my time is, you know.
Yeah. Everybody's on their own time.
So even if choosing to engage with somebody, and there's a possibility that they may not have the same time. So whether they show up late or, you expected to have a meeting, but everything is talked about except what you thought was going to talk about at the meeting. It's like, you waste my time for this bullshit. My person now has, all of that is gone out the window. That's open back there. Pow, it's gone. So now every day is just remembering that it's gone, so that they can remember to honor, to love everybody unconditionally by allowing them the non-judgmental use of their own time.
I agree.
Yeah, because it's a tool, and based upon where we are, it's different. So
And that's something, I think that's very important to recognize that everyone is on their own time. Their time is not your time necessarily. And if they choose to share the time, it still might not be what time they share may not be coinciding with your time. Your time. Yeah. Because the timing is different for everybody as well.
yeah,
Time, that has probably a different meaning for different people.
That reminds me of the train. When they doot doot, it's like that's the warning sign, right? The guy's sitting there with his clock. All aboard that's going aboard. It's like you either sync up with as this train moves along, or you find your own way to get there, which is fine, because a friend of mine, let me just say, she had all these options of where she was trying to go, and it depended on what time she wanted to get there, which way she was going to go. But there's always options to get there, even if I don't go on the same train as you. We can meet at the destination and all choose our own timing on, how long it takes us to get there. But, this is the window of time we're going to be there. So, you want to meet up. What do they call those when you have jamboree? Everybody's going to meet up. Get there the best way you can, whatever way you want, and let's go jam.
That's what came to mind. Performances would need them by you. Besides yesterday, whenever we have performance, most of us on public transportation, we do have a call time. Sometimes some of us link up to get there, like yesterday was in Baltimore. So we all chose to meet at Anacostia at 1 o'clock. We got there at different times from different methods, but that was around the time to met with somebody else to get us up at a certain time. But other than that, like Dr. You and my person, sometimes we come up like the same side of town. These days we go together because my person don't have the drum no more. But before that, we would leave at different certain times based upon, even though we get this close, based upon whatever is running to get us at a certain time. So all that is like a perfect example of that.
How to synchronize.
Synchronize.
How it syncs up.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, yeah, the linking and the syncing.
And this is on the physical level. What they just saying now on the metaphysical level. Because what's happening, while we having this discussion right now, at this particular time, there's something else going on at the same time. So once you get someplace, it will have synchronized to meet you, to give you this blessing, or to give you this burden. Whichever one that you have put out there is to meet up at a certain time. Even this was meeting up at a certain time. We came here at different times.
Right.
And yet, we came at different times. So now, my person is looking to get all the information it can. This is, slow down, because it's combining two frames of thoughts. One was that things are moving now, right now, to synchronize, so that once we get to where we're going, where we go, today, next day, things have already been, and sometimes it can go on for years.
Ready and waiting.
Years.
Yeah.
And a good example of that is the temple, because only like 12 minutes from here, one bus ride, it took 2 years, and from Florida, by way of Florida, Master Aaron going to reach out to Florida to find out about this place. And so it was during that time, there was some movement going
really?
on. Right.
That's how he found this, and then
He
he
came-
went to Florida to find out about
He
this.
reached out to somebody in Florida
And,
that was talking about heart touch therapy.
okay.
They referred him over here. He was like, I'm going over here to talk about heart touch therapy. You want to come? I'm like, cool, okay. And been coming here ever since.
Okay.
But it's, it's not that far from.
Right.
And there's other people in the DC area who have known about Temple Mother Earth. Yeah, because one of the guys saw, he was like, I told you about this place about a year ago. I don't remember that. But then when he said, it's like, because he was talking about mushrooms, and at the time, my person wasn't open to mushrooms, because he just got off of the DMT. And it was like, we like to enjoy the DMT, but then shortly after that, was like, man, what about the DMT? But at the same time, my person wasn't open at the time he said something about Temple Mother Earth. And it took some another time from.
I want to speak to something in
Right.
reference
Wow.
to these recreational things. You said the DMT, that you had
Right.
gotten into that. Remember, when we did that here, there was a ceremony here at the temple one time that I got a chance to be introduced to what was, the DMT, and it to me resembles, what was that, PCP?
What?
Yeah.
What it does to the body, because so
What
we
is
have
DMT?
DMT is one of those things that like ayahuasca, it takes you on a trip.
Ayahuasca.
Like ayahuasca, like
What is ayahuasca?
mushrooms do the same thing. Take you on a
Ayahuasca
trip.
is some kind of. Is a what?
I think it's dimethyltryptamine.
Is that some of that stuff?
Well, DMT is in plant. It occurs naturally in plants.
Okay.
And depending upon the plant, there's more constitution of it,
Okay.
right? And what it does, just like the plants are inside of us, we have DMT. Just like we have those other
We have
happy
natural
endorphins,
receptors.
Okay.
things like this.
Okay.
And, where they go on to get where they getting the stuff from the pharmaceuticals from, the endorphins and the euphoria, the dopamine.
Right, but we
You
also
know.
have cannabinoid receptors too.
Right.
We have receptors for all these things that these recreational drugs actually put out. So we actually are made to digest those naturally and produce them naturally. But now that we have the various recreational drugs that we use, we're not taught the spiritual, like Indians might be, teaching their young, their ceremonies, or, those in their specific cultures, or in their, I won't say religious, but, in spiritual groups, they're teaching their youth, and they're going through various programs, rites of passage and so on, where they're introduced to, because you can even get certain amounts of benefit from the breathing, and get some of the same kinds of, like you pull it out of yourself, versus from the outside in, you go from what you naturally produce and can have an experience that's similar to the different drugs. But if we would have known that as a child, we would have respected it. Because a friend of mine introduced me to the word, calling it a holy herb, calling marijuana a holy herb. And I never, I never doubted that.
Back in the day, you mean?
Yeah, sometime back in the day, back in the just the early 2000s, is when I heard that. Just before, around the Y2K time.
That's recent.
Around Y2K, that's 24 years ago.
Okay.
But but what I'm saying is when that was said, holy herb, I took it as that. I was, and as a matter of fact, he said it was a sacrament. And it made me really think like how we bastardize the substances that we have access to. Like if we knew that we could do the spiritual, ceremony or trip or something off any of this, I'm telling you, for cocaine, marijuana, the PCP, the mushrooms,
PCP, is that a natural derivative?
Well, it's a lab form
Okay.
of something that we naturally produce in our own bodies.
Oh, really?
It's a natural. It's like the same thing with all the other things, because cannabinoids, we have a natural receptor for that, but do we recognize that? Are people getting into, because you have the THCA, THC, whatever, delta, da 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 da. They don't all affect us in the same way. Like some people, when they get on THC, they act like they from another planet. I remember Erica. Erica acted like she was from another planet. Didn't you know Erica?
Oh, the one that passed?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. When she indulged, she was like from another planet. So to me, she lined up with.
It's been too much because everybody's chemistry makeup is different.
Yeah.
No, this is different though. What I'm saying is that she don't have to have much.
That's what I'm saying.
To trigger her
because
into this other personality.
It's like me, that stuff, I don't need none of this. I do not really needed any of those things.
Right.
So, because I feel euphoric, I feel all kinds of happy.
And some people
I
don't
feel
even
different,
like
all
you
the
don't
time,
need
so I
any
don't
of
need
it.
it, huh?
Right. Some people like you don't need any
Yeah.
of it because you can do it from your breath. You can actually think yourself and, meditate and put yourself into a place of samdhi, of, whatever the energies that these spiritual frequency levels that we are able to elevate to is natural. But these are those tools that can actually enhance
You can use them,
and encourage you into that spiritual space that you can practice and be elevated to another dimension where you're actually connecting with your higher self. What do you call that? Communing with yourself.
She was so spiritually elevated till that stuff probably took her. It became in her unbalanced because she was already there. I don't know when she was doing, but to me, I didn't know what she was doing when she was doing it. But she was a different type of person. Just
Right.
who she was.
Question for you. My person grew up and had a lot of traumatic experience. Was raped, bullied, racism, mama, crack, pregnant, all that stuff. If you don't, just curious, you don't have to name it if you did, but did you experience like any
Traumas in my life?
Like growing up as a child?
Serious. At 7 years old. From 7. The whole, had the perfect family thing going. All of a sudden, at 7 years old, not directly like something, physical, but just involved and watching the different changes and devastation that I was not experienced, knowledge of, and the snap and the change, a sudden snap, and I remember the first thing I thought was, oh my God, I must know how to control myself because I can't be anybody else.
So
at 7, that's a young age.
right. So what happened at 7? Was it you observed things that went away and it
Yeah, it made me so hypersensitive to everything I could see.
But it wasn't necessarily specifically directed like stuff to
me,
you.
Physically,
Right.
Didn't have no, I didn't have that kind of
right.
things like that.
And so, reason my person asked that because it just has a theory that those of us who have had more physical, like things that specifically happened to us by those people. Right. It wasn't as if we saw shit and saw the dysfunction and saw, wait a minute, how you flip the script? Why now you gotta act this way? No, it was to us, and because of that, that's my person's theory. That's a theory that we more so take to the plant medicines, whether they be street, self-medicated, whatever, because of those because where we have to come from, right?
Yeah, those
and so yours may not have been as deep because it wasn't physically, even though it was there.
Yeah.
You still have more of that close. It's not as you can still easily experience that euphoria from within because you wasn't like broken and beaten down. All this stuff growing up. It's just a theory. So
I can understand that because of different levels.
Right. That's why it's more in the hood. There's more street drugs in the hood because of the condition that they're in and the stuff happens to them physically. Where in the suburbs, it's not
I agree with it. I can totally agree with it because I'm hearing things that people tell me and I'm like, damn, I can't say, I understand it, but I can't say
can't really relate
to it because I don't have it. But but I'm thankful, for what I did have to go through.
Well, it's just like slavery. Yeah, it's like slavery. Not all people of color went through slavery. Just some people did.
But see, just watching abuse that affect you really deeply as well. Because I watch people. I used to be very sympathetic. I see people suffer. I could see persons suffering, and I mean, it would just tear me. Like I could feel it. It was really like devastating and downing to me. Yeah, I mean, right now still I see homeless people, different people, and it really has an effect on me. I'm really like, damn, I want to stop and pick them up and do something, give them something. Yeah, that's the way but. I understand some people just, you go through different things. I mean, different people have different experiences. But when I was saying that Erica, I was speaking of her, I don't know what her life was because I didn't know her. Y'all knew her. But to me, the girl, that woman she was spiritually elevated. She really was. She was much more spiritual than the average person. It was almost like she was like open. She was an open person.
Oh yeah, fair. She's just very enlightened.
Yeah,
she called herself Lotus Flower.
She called herself that?
Yeah.
And
that was her email address, Lotus Flower, something or other, blah blah blah. Yeah, but see, she also had a car accident. That's where she had a head trauma.
Okay.
And I have found through my research and / theory that if you've had a car accident or had an accident where you've had a head injury. The chances are that you are, first off, you're never going to be the same. You're going to have to learn some new workarounds because now your life has changed and the way you think is now changing. So what I found that if you've had a head injury and you smoke marijuana, it affects you in a much, I'm not going to say cleaner way, but it goes straight to the point. The point is, get on the level where you can hear the downloads, where you can receive the communications. You get the data. Because they've already had that near-death experience, most likely. They've already had an opportunity to be in that spiritual realm and choose. Am I coming back?
Head injury?
She had a head injury, yes.
Okay. Severely?
Well, I'm not going to say severely because she was able to regain certain abilities.
Okay.
My brother who has a head injury, I've hit my head. My ex-husband who we just buried we memorialized him in April. He had a head injury at 14, and people were wondering why he, because when he smoked, his way where he went to is like he became like Rain Man. Like Rain Man, he could spit out calculations. He could spit out information.
Yeah, that's right.
He was,
some people like
right, so he was able to tap into that spectrum of information where he was on genius level at that point about certain
it
things.
happens to some people after head injuries.
Right, and so this is what I'm saying as far as when I've seen them indulge with marijuana, it's usually, you know, it affects them at a faster rate and at a higher pace. Like they are able to go like straight to the moon.
I have head injury. You think I should get some? I'm just.
You did? You do?
I did. I had one.
Okay.
But it, you know, I've had a lot of injuries. A lot. But psychologically, I always approach everything psychologically. But I'll have emotions, but my psychology always kicks in, always. And it's really helped me overcome and really expand my abilities, you know, without any type of, because I won't take a pill. I'm taking nothing. I want no aspirin. I want none of this. You know, thankfully I haven't had.
Is that your ringtone? Wow, that's so peaceful. So One Love and Wellness family, I guess I'm on this side, so maybe I can step on this side for a second and show my face in the place. Thank you for joining us. Heart Happy Hour will be on a little bit later from the beach. Master Ashep and I and some others, we used to be here as the conversationalists having soulful discussions with you. And it looks like they needed to step away for a moment and take their phone calls or whatever else Master Ashep is off doing. But you guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing the love with us. I hope you got something out of this episode. I'm glad I was able to come and share this energy with you guys, share my solar return. It is definitely a great day in the neighborhood. I'm really feeling, you know, I've got a lot of love already on my page. So I'm about to hook up with some loved ones and go share another self-love session. So it looks like they're setting up for the sound bowl and sound immersion. And Master Ashep is now returning. So I was just sharing that, you know, we used to do our soulful discussions together as a group, you know, kind of like online sort of thing. And it's now in person, so I don't often get the opportunity to share my words of wisdom. Most recently, I started speaking into my water. Wealth, wellness, and wisdom. And so I think this year I'll start saying that more. Because you know how I say One Love and Wellness, right, or love plus art equals wellness. I think I'm going to shift to these 3 W's of wealth, wellness, and wisdom. Like I'm tuning into that frequency, this next revolution around the sun. You know, I made a new mantra and some other things, but those are 3 words that resonate strongly with me right now and my energy. So I am consuming it in my water that I'm speaking into, but then I'm also eating my words. I'm resonating with that energy to say that I'm tapping into however many years I've revolved around this sun. I'm in the senior sector of things. So, yeah, I'm using my wisdom. You know, I'm be living, be living, I'm being in the energy of wealth and, you know, resonating with walking in that energy and wellness. So those are the 3 words that I will stamp myself with today and continue to try to line up synchronize my energy and my wisdom, my energy to synchronize with those words of wellness.
Very powerful. Very much.
Thank you.
Yes, way to you know, be intentional with the solar return as the alchemist that you are.
Sacred Arts Curator too. I'm really starting to soak up that word sacred. I want to put it with some other words. Sacred this and sacred that and sacred this. Or just have that intentional, that thought in my mind that, all things, what this goddess decides to do, what we decide to resonate with, these are intentional decisions now that I'm deciding that I want to be conscious about what I'm lining up with. More and more, the words that I speak out my mouth, I have to be more and more particular with the energies that I decide to stir up and resonate with.
In all thy being, be intentional. That's the word of the day as we close out. In all thy being, be intentional. Be intentional. Asheo. Catch you guys at another time and place in space. Until then, be